Some people's minds are more capable. They can see more, they can feel more, they can know more.
Welcome back to San Diego Comic-Con, guys. Events editor Eric Eisenberg here, and I'm tremendously excited because right now I am joined by the creators and star of the new Amazon show Undone, Bob Waksberg,
Hello.
Kate Purdy,
Hello.
and Rosa Salazar.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Great.
Great.
Love the microphone action. That is fantastic. So I will dive into this and start right at the beginning and say this show looks out of this world. It looks completely different than anything else I've seen. I'm just curious to start, what was the inspiration behind its creation?
Sure. Well, I have the pleasure to work with Raphael on BoJack Horseman, and the first season of BoJack, I wrote an episode called Downer Ending, in which BoJack has a drug trip and he experiences an alternate reality. And after that, Raphael said, what if we did a show together that started there? What if that was the show? And it explored reality and time and space.
All over the place. It's good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting. It works.
Yeah. And we talked about some of our personal experiences, and I told him about my family, and there's a history of mental illness. My grandmother on my father's side had schizophrenia. So I've always wanted to investigate that further, of course, with the question in mind, like, what if I lost my mind? What would that be like? And then around age 33, did have a breakdown and ultimately found all kinds of alternative healings from different cultures, ancient cultures, indigenous cultures, and found that in these cultures there's a different way of thinking about mental health than there traditionally is in the West. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes the shamans or the seers are the ones who hear voices or have visions or believe that there are other realms, other realities, that there are ancestors and spirits who are there to guide us that are unseen, and that we shouldn't necessarily be afraid of the potential of this.
Alma, you remember what you said about silence the first time you heard it?
I didn't know it sounded so alive.
Alma, Rosa's character, is having an experience where she's wondering, am I losing my mind, or am I really having these experiences where my dead father is coming to me and saying, you have innate abilities that I'm going to unleash, and I'm going to help you navigate them so that you can travel back in time and save me, because my death wasn't an accident, I was actually murdered. Mm-hmm. And I need you to solve that to change the course of history.
And so what was it like getting into the character of Alma? Like, yeah, what was your first impression of her?
Well, I loved her. My first impression of the show was through the writing, and the writing is pitch perfect. It's brilliant. It's gorgeous writing, and very vivid. I had a roller coaster of a time, with Alma and playing Alma and getting to know Alma, because it undid me in a way. I started seeing a shamanic healer who would take me on guided journeys, meditations. I started reading books on indigenous alternative ways of healing.
Is it different than other experiences that you had? Is it like, did you kind of go further with it?
Yeah, I did. I went almost to a scary place with it. And I feel like as an actor, I'm always kind of chasing that real feeling of melting into something, losing myself. Sure. I'm searching for that authentic feeling of having it be a lucid dream. And you get flashes of it when you're working. It could be a scene that you're like, I was really in that. I lost myself in that. I blacked out. I was in it. Mm-hmm. And on this show, I had a real chance to lose myself completely to almost a terrifying degree.
Sure, and like it does sound tremendously heavy. You're obviously dealing with really big things. I'm curious about the tone though, like just also knowing BoJack Horseman like is an incredibly funny show, also goes to some incredibly deep, dark depths. So is that something that you kind of play with in this show? Like what is the tonal balance?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a dramedy, maybe more of a dramedy than BoJack is. But I think tonally we wanted a show that felt very grounded and real. We wanted it to kind of be about real people in real relationships who are suddenly confronted with something that feels unreal. And some of our inspirations, things we talked about, were like things like The Wizard of Oz or The Matrix, where someone is suddenly plucked out of their normal humdrum life and sent on a journey. But I feel like the choices in those movies are very easy. And we wanted, okay, what if that happened to you? What if you, living your full life as you have lived it up to this moment where nothing magical or strange or out of the ordinary has happened at all, what if in that real world you were then presented with this, and how scary and terrifying, but also thrilling and seductive that would be?
Isn't that so funny?
Well, like I said, dramedy.
Well, there is something interesting about kind of taking a look from the bigger picture and kind of just like the larger comedy of the universe.
It
and
is.
some of
I think that comedy is born out of those real moments of tension, real moments of awkwardness, real moments of life.
Like, yeah, I'd love to come on this crazy supernatural mystery with you, Dad, but I'm kind of in a fight with my boyfriend right now.
And I can't.
And I can't explain to him, hey, boyfriend, give me a second,
Yeah.
while I go back in time and like learn about the history of my father.
Or like, Mom, did you seriously bake antipsychotic meds into these cookies? I thought you were being nice.
Well, and speaking of someone, I mean, Bob Odenkirk is a guy who, over his career, has balanced between those kind of comedy
Yeah.
and drama places. What was the experience like working with him?
Awful.
Yeah,
Canceled.
oh, just the worst. Yeah.
No, he was, I mean, God, it was fucking amazing. I mean, he's been an idol of mine for a long time. I started in comedy, and I'm a huge Mr. Show fan, and it was a dream of mine from the precipice to work with Bob Odenkirk, and you made that dream a reality. And to have him as my father, and to spar with him on that level, and to get deep in that way, and to form a bond and a connection with him, a lifelong bond in the real world, whatever that means. It's been one of the greatest joys of my life and career.
We didn't do chemistry tests,
No,
really, right?
no.
But I remember
We
the
just
first
showed up.
the first table read, and it felt like, oh, this is a family. This is, Rosa and Angelique, who plays her sister.
Constance Marie.
your mother. Like, it felt like, oh, yeah, these three are falling into this rhythm so naturally.
I have a memory that I don't know if it's real or not, but
I love it. That fits.
yes,
Yeah.
at the end of that table read, in my mind, you and Constance and Angelique were all braiding each other's hair.
No, we were.
There you go. Nice.
We were. It did happen, yeah. It did happen. We fell right into it.
And did you guys get to record together? And
Well, it's all live action.
oh, right. Okay, so it is rotoscope then.
It's
okay.
complete rotoscope, as they used to do the old Disney films. They would film Alice in Wonderland with a young blonde actress doing everything, and then they would animate over top of it. And it's essentially what we've done.
Can you talk about kind of building the style and making those stylistic choices?
Absolutely. We saw the work of Hisko Hulsing, who's our director. He's a wonderful, talented painter out of Holland, out of Amsterdam. And we started collaborating with him on the show. And he has, his style is that he uses oil paintings for the backgrounds. And he suggested using rotoscope because he had done it on another project with Tommy Pilata, who's one of our producers, who did Waking Life and Scanner Darkly with Richard Linklater.
Linklater, sure.
Yeah, and so we talked about bringing that all together for this show so that you get that very real, grounded feeling, and you get the beautiful performances from Rose and the other actors entirely captured and all the chemistry. You have to see it because it's handmade. It's hand-drawn, hand-painted, beautiful performances. It looks really incredible.
You mentioned Alita earlier. Just having the experience of doing that kind of performance. I'm also curious, just like, have you had any conversations about diving back into that world?
No.
No. Okay. Well, is it something you would be excited to dive back into?
Yeah, but I'm more excited about Undone. Okay. No, listen. Listen, I will say,
Right now, she's here for Undone. When she comes back in 2 years to talk about Alita, she'll be like, yeah, Undone is great, but let's talk about Alita.
Is that how long you think it takes to make an Alita? Let me tell you how long it takes to make an Alita. A long time.
But now you can use your Undone powers to bend time to fold it upon itself.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's funny because when I was on the set of Undone, I kept going, I would have a good take and I would be like, oh, great job. I'd be like, thank you, Alita Battle Angel, in theaters, March 18th. But of course, that day kept changing. Look, yeah, of course. yeah, I would love to do that. No, I'm not going to be like, no,
exactly.
I'm not gonna do that. No, of course. But I will say this. I love this trend of being able to do something live action and then being animated after the fact. I like having a way to completely escape my physical form in a way. I use it, obviously, it's my instrument, but I like leaving this behind and creating someone completely new who exists in another dimension, who is wholly her own person, her own creation. And I want to do more of that, whether it be another Alita, whether it be 17 more seasons of Undone, which I hope happens.
Sure.
Look, if my career could just be Alitas and Undones,
Perfect.
I'd love that.
Awesome.
Make it happen.
Can do. I'll do my
Papa
best.
Disney,
Right.
Papa Amazon. Make it happen. Am I losing my mind, Dad?
No. No. Well, yes and no.